Hey, what's going on, Alpha? What's up, Raging? How you doing this evening?
Oh, doing pretty good, pretty good. Ready to get this draft underway and put on a hell of a show.
Awesome. Yeah, we've got what? The Cardinals up first. I wonder how long Arizona is already picking.
I think at this point, when you got the number one pick and you've been with it for a while, obviously you know who you're going to take. I know they're probably playing around with an idea of drafting this guy or that guy, but he's been pretty adamant about who he's going to be taking this whole time.
Yeah, I've got to say, with talking with Arizona, I think he's got to go Bosa. He absolutely has to
Yeah,
go Bosa. I mean,
yeah, I agree. Go ahead. I'm
I,
sorry.
I can't imagine. Well, I guess I could, but I can't imagine having a Bosa and a Chandler Jones in the same defensive line. That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, especially in this year's Madden, where the defensive end position is probably the most impactful pass rusher or any kind of edge defender in this year's game. You have someone like Jones, like you said, Bosa coming off the edge, and Bosa looking like he's going to be a physical freak if there ever has been. I'm actually going to pull up his combine stats here real quick just to look. He grades out as 7.2, a 4.71 in the 40 and 32 bench rate. I mean, he's got everything you could possibly need as a lineman.
Yeah, I'm going to go out there on a limb. I'm going to say he's going to be a low 80s overall for a rookie, which is outstanding. That's going to pair him up with Chandler Jones, who ranks out at an 86 overall on that Cardinals defensive line. So that's going to be good because it's going to be hard for teams to, assign that running back in a blocking position and try to take care of both these guys rushing the edges.
Yeah, I agree. My question to you though is which it's lists him as a right end, so obviously it's going to have him going up against the best pass blockers in the league. Do you think maybe you can see him switching sides with him? I'm not sure which side Chandler Jones usually lines up on, but would you maybe try to move him to that right side of the line?
Well, Chandler Jones is actually the listed right end for the Cardinals right now. So I would probably move him over to left end myself and kind of let him work against the weaker tackle.
Now, I want to ask you a question because I throughout this off-season process, I've been in play a couple of times for the number two overall pick, and I've been in talks with Sargent a couple of times on where he's planning on going with that pick, and he's been, like I say, he's been adamant about going with Bosa. Any chance you think maybe he's toying with us a little bit, trying to throw some people off on who he's trying to target?
There's a possibility, but I don't know what he needs to throw off because, again, he's got that number one pick. I mean, I'm looking at his depth chart. He's got Tyrod Taylor as his quarterback. Let's not forget, he did trade Rosen. So he has Taylor and he has Griffin the third. So some older quarterbacks back there. I mean, he could go with a Haskins at one. But again, I mean, he's just put so much time into Bosa. I really think he's going Bosa.
You know, you mentioned a quarterback in Haskins. My question to you: do you feel like Haskins is going to be the better quarterback on this list, or maybe Murray sneaks up there?
Well, it depends on how you want to use him. Murray is obviously the most mobile quarterback in the draft. I think he has phenomenal speed and acceleration. But again, to me, the quarterback position is about throwing the football. If the Cardinals want to run the ball, I mean, they do have David Johnson in the backfield. I mean, he's more than competent to run that football. They do have T.J. Logan, a very capable back. He's got a lot of speed. And then they do have Chase Edmonds back there, a one-year veteran. So he's been in the league for a year. He's got a little bit more power, kind of a little more of a balanced running back. So I think I pass on Murray if I'm the Cardinals, and I would go with Haskins if I was going to take a quarterback.
Well, the only reason I would disagree with you for, let's say, the Cardinals, for example, because obviously they're the first team up. Uh, as much as I agree that the game, obviously quarterbacks who have more to offer are more valuable, but when you have someone who can just purely throw the ball, clearly it's the better position, except when you're sitting behind an offensive line like what the Cardinals have, who are looking like they're going to be starting two players who are riding in the 60s in their overall categories. At that point, I feel like a guy like Murray would be more beneficial to them.
The mobility, yes, but I think Haskins' ability to get rid of that football quick, kind of, a la Tom Brady, I think he can swing that ball out to his halfback and kind of negate that blitz a little bit. And then he does have some weapons at wide receiver, so he can work those underneath routes, just kind of throw behind the blitz and make a team kind of, question blitzing again. But yeah, that weak offensive line, some of those defensive ends are going to get off the line a little better. So yeah, you're right.
But I'm pretty sure it's pretty much a given that they're going to be taking Bosa. I mean, we're just kind of spitballing here. But I want to ask you, of course, obviously, you're still leaning Haskins. Do you think he's going to be the first quarterback off the board?
I do. I think Haskins is going to be the first quarterback off the board. I think Murray will be number 2.
All right. Do you think the Raiders are going to go quarterback? I know they've been shopping Carr around a little bit this offseason.
I do. I think the Raiders are going to go quarterback, and I think the Giants are going to go QB too.
All right, let's see. Now I'm looking at. I don't have the exact draft order up. I just have the recent mock draft that was taken up, so that's kind of where I'm looking at picks wise. So I apologize if I call out a incorrect pick. Don't have the, like I said, the most up to date one here. Looking at it though, I know. I don't think there's going to be that one of those top 2 quarterbacks are going to fall to the Giants. I really feel like we're going to see 2 quarterbacks taken in the top 5.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, we do have Oakland coming in at number 2. I don't think San Francisco is going to go quarterback because, again, they have Garoppolo. The Jets are a very quarterback needy team, even though they do have the 1-year veteran there. I know he's been shopping him too and looking for an alternative. Miami's probably going to go with a quarterback. So, yeah, I think you're right. The Giants might be kind of left looking elsewhere.
I don't want to say I have the inside track on that number 5 pick, but I do know that if one of those quarterbacks, I don't want to give it away too much. I don't want to show my hand too much. If one of those quarterbacks hit that spot, there's no way he's going to pass on him. As a matter of fact, that quarterback is the reason he moved up to get that player.
Yeah, that's true. So I think we can definitely pencil Miami in as a quarterback drafting team.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to me to see number 2 what Oakland does with that second pick. Do they go linebacker? Do they go quarterback? Because again, they do pick just a few picks down the road here. But they do, assuming Bosa goes to Arizona like we think, Oakland's going to get to pick whoever they want.
Let me ask you this now. Considering this is such a heavy defensive draft, I mean, I've seen experts say that this draft is going to be so deep that even if you have the 32nd pick, you're going to come away really happy with the player that you get if literally every pick was a defensive player. Would that push, do you think, some of these teams to go more offensive because they know they can get a top defensive player at the top of the second round?
Yes, I think you're going to see defense 1. I think you're going to see offense 2. You're going to see offense again at 5. I see some of these receivers coming off the board pretty early too. There's some speedsters at the wide receiver position and a few good tight ends too. And then we do have, O-line is a necessity here in this league. So I think we're going to see some teams in the first round take some tackles, maybe a guard or a center.
Yeah. One thing I want to note, I saw at least in this last mock draft, I know they had at 22 me taking Marquise Brown. I don't think there's any chance he actually falls to me at that pick. So I could definitely see him going probably, honestly, I'd say something like top 10 just because of that elite speed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Brown, I think Brown's got the most speed of the receiver class in this draft. Metcalf looks pretty good too. So it's interesting. I really think San Francisco is going to go defense. I know there was some rumblings he wanted a receiver in San Francisco, but I really, really think San Francisco goes defense. So you may get lucky. He may fall.
Let's see. I see someone in the chat there is asking for us, what do we think the Packers go with their pick? Let's see. It looks like they're picking at 16. What do you feel from that position?
So number 16, Green Bay, they do have an aging Aaron Rodgers. So I'm wondering if Green Bay is going to maybe look for a third quarterback in the draft. Or, I mean, Green Bay's defense needs some help too. Looking down this list, I could see the defensive tackle Oliver maybe falling that far. I don't see Oliver going to the Jets. I don't see anybody really grabbing that defensive tackle till midway through the draft. Maybe he slips to Green Bay. Other than that, I think Green Bay is going to look for a linebacker or a corner.
And guys, we are live.
Oh, well, there we go. I didn't realize what time it was. So you're saying you think Keenan Williams is going to be the first defensive tackle taken off the board?
I think so.
All right.
So, yeah, we are 8 o'clock Eastern, guys. It looks like we are about ready to get this draft kicked off. I'm going to go ahead and advance this thing to the next stage. So, everybody, if you're listening, all 32 teams, if you're in there, get ready because we are about to kick this thing off.
It's about to get hot, gentlemen. The happiest time of the year is finally
That's right. That's right. Let's do it. And I think College is going to jump in here and kind of help commentate as well. Obviously, when a couple of us actually do our picks and everything, I think he's going to help alleviate some of that. So.
Okay, is he in the chat right now, Kolitz?
He is. You need to give him permission.
Yeah, I'm looking for him.
So.
All right. Ooh, I see everything lighting up all of a sudden.
Yeah, I do too. I'm just trying to find Kolitz here so I can get him into the chat with us. There he is. And he should have access, so he can go ahead and
I think you
climb
have to
aboard.
Advance one more time.
I do. I'm waiting for Kolitz to jump in.
Oh, I got you.
Hello. Let me turn off
that. Hey, welcome.
Hey, fellas.
All right, guys. Without further ado, here we go. Arizona, you will be on the clock.
All right, here we go. Nick Bosa, will he be the number 1 pick in this draft as is expected? IRL. Colin, you just jumped in the chat here. If you're the Cardinals, who do you go for here?
I think you gotta either put it between Nick Bosa or Quinnen Williams. Just the 2 most dominant players on defense that we've seen come out of the draft in the past couple of years. It's a no-brainer for me. Nick Bosa would be number 1.
So looking at Nick Bosa, some of his strengths, I think, will be that pass rush. He does bring a good intensity to that defensive line. He has good leadership. I just see Nick Bosa going to Arizona here. I think it's a good pick. I think that's a division that's got some offense with the Rams in there. They need to get after the quarterback. I think Bosa is a good pick for him too.
It's some weak offensive lines in that division as well.
Yeah, but with Bosa's speed, with his strength, he's going to be running through guys. He's young. He's 21 years old. He's just the guy to go. He's the best player in the draft, and I think Arizona's going to make the right move here.
I'll admit this pick's actually taking longer than I thought it was.
Well, the pick is in. Arizona has made their selection, so we're going to go ahead and move on to Oakland here. Let's see who they picked.
There it is. With your first overall pick in the first official SBSL draft, the Cardinals officially take defensive end Nick Bosa out of Ohio State, coming in at 83 overall.
Wow, great pick. He's 22 years old, 6 foot 4 inches tall, 262 pounds. I think it's a little heavier maybe on that combine score. Again, his strengths are his pass rush, intensity, very good leadership. Weakness, his health has been a little bit of a question. And then his play rec, but again, he is a rookie.
I agree. The biggest thing I think I'm worried about is how healthy is he going to be? Is he going to be able to sustain the constant I'm trying to figure out the best word to put it here. The constant pressure of being a leading guy on the defensive line every single play, because I don't see him ever coming off. Is he going to be able to withstand a full season? And with the second pick coming off, now we got Josh Allen, the outside linebacker for Kentucky, the edge rusher, coming up with a 78 overall, going to the Oakland Raiders.
Great pick. 6'5", 260-pound animal. Fast get-off speed, excellent pursuit, great leadership. A little weak against the run game. He is a little inconsistent. Again, awareness, but, he is a rookie, but the best pass rushing linebacker in the draft.
See, to me, this is going to be the biggest question mark here. Is, like you said, he is weak against the run, so he doesn't come in as polished as Bosa per se. But I have a feeling that Allen has the ability to be the best pass rusher we see come out of this draft. He has that potential. Now, he's a senior, stayed in college all 4 years, 22 years old, so still got plenty of time to grow. Already comes in with a lot of leadership mentality because of his 4 years in college. Kind of maybe got a chip on his shoulder, though, coming from it's a big school, but a non-successful school in Kentucky. I really like this pick.
All right, 49ers pick is in.
Oh my goodness, we got the first LSU boy off the clock here. We got the San Francisco 49ers taking Devin White, middle linebacker out of LSU, 74 overall, though. A real low overall for someone that I thought was going to be one of the best players in this draft.
Yeah, but looking at that 49ers depth chart, they only have 2 linebackers on their depth chart currently, Warner and I think Smith. So it was pretty logical that they had to go linebacker. Devin White, 21-year-old, 6'1", 240 pounds, extremely hard hitter, great closing speed, good against the run. So, they are in a division with some good running backs. He does lack a little consistency. His overall speed isn't top flight, but he is what he is. He's a run stuffer.
I do want to go back and mention the Oakland Raiders there with that Josh Allen pick. They tried trading number 2 multiple times to multiple different teams, and they just could not get deals done. So for them to go out and take Josh Allen there, who would have seen that coming with what they were trying to do this offseason?
Yeah, I agree. I was also someone who's in play for that pick. I never dreamed they were going to be trying to go with pass rusher, but maybe they finally replaced Mack with that pick. Now, while we were talking about those about the other picks, we actually had 2 draft picks come in. The New York Jets at 4 are taking the other LSU boy, Greedy Williams, the 6'3", 184-pound corner. Comes in with great ball skills, height, reach, and he's a great press man. But what are some of his weaknesses, Soden?
Well, he's a little bit thin-framed. He's a smaller guy. He does lack awareness, and his instincts came into question during the combine. So we'll see how he does in New York.
And then with the 5th overall pick, I told you I had the inside track on this one. I knew exactly who they were going to take. The quarterback out of Oklahoma, Kyler Murray, coming off the board, is going to be the man in Miami. Do you think that's a good pick for him?
I was a Haskins fan, but you were right. You hit the nail on the head. Excellent accuracy, good athleticism. He's a winner. He does lack size and durability as a shorter quarterback. He does miss some throws, but I'll tell you, he's fast. He's got some game-changing speed.
One thing to note, he comes in at 74 overall, so maybe not seeing that development that you see out of most quarterbacks in the college system. He is only a 1-year starter, of course, last year. Baker Mayfield, the number 1 overall pick last year, was the leading man there in Oklahoma. But Murray going to give the Oklahoma Sooners 2 top 5 quarterbacks, or 2 top draft picks at quarterback back-to-back years. And now the New York Giants coming in, and Mr. Ed Oliver out of Houston, the 83 overall defensive tackle, is now officially off the board.
Yeah, mine rated number 2 player in the league. In the draft, I'm sorry. He comes in at 292 pounds, 6'3". He is a pass-rushing animal a la Aaron Donald out of Los Angeles Rams. Very explosive, great motor. His weaknesses, he is a little undersized for his position, but he is very physical, good against the run. I like this pick.
Now, something you did, of course, mention Aaron Donald, who does come to mind when you talk about Ed Oliver. Do you think he's going to live up to that level of play?
I don't think anybody can live up to Aaron Donald, but he'll be close.
Fair enough. That's a fair pick. We actually had another draft, the second Oakland Raider pick officially coming in, and they go outside linebacker again, this time picking up Mr. Brian Burns.
The real question now is how far does Quinnen Williams fall now that Ed Oliver is off the board?
I think it's a good pick.
It definitely. Ed Oliver, his strengths, pass rush, explosive, great motor. He's right up there with, with the agility and the abilities that Quinnen Williams has. There was a lot of talk that Ed Oliver might be the first one gone, and as we see, they get the job done and they take him.
And the Lions actually is doing something I consider a major surprise here, taking Dwayne Haskins, the quarterback of Ohio State, here at the top of this draft. A good pick for the Lions?
It is. I mean, they do have Matthew Stafford, but Stafford tends to lack big game, his ability to win in a big game, so I can see him looking for Haskins. I thought Haskins was the best quarterback in the draft. 6'3", 222 pounds. Very good arm strength, good deep accuracy, quality build to him. He's going to be able to take some hits in the pocket. His weakness, obviously, experience. He is a raw talent. His footwork does come into question a little bit, so we'll see if the Lions quarterback coach can get that under control.
Let's see. There he is. And Keenan Williams, somebody said earlier, they're going to see how far he would fall. He didn't have to fall too far. The 9th overall pick in this year's draft is the big man himself heading to Buffalo.
Yeah, rated number 3 in the draft. 6'3", 291 pounds. Very disruptive tackle. Good pass rushing. Very instinctive. Again, experience would be a weakness. Some say he may be a one-year wonder, and there are some issues with his character that came into question during interviews.
And to continue this rolling, and picks are flying off the board here. We're already up to pick 11, waiting for Jacksonville to get theirs in. But the Cincinnati Bengals, shoring up that offensive line draft, the Alabama left tackle Jonah Williams officially off the board.
Yeah, big boy Jonah, 6'5", 301 pounds. He scored really high, great intelligence, good technique, great pass blocker. Weakness, he did show a little bit of weakness and strength and athleticism. Sometimes he does get overpowered, but I think it's coachable.
Now, normally with guys that you say don't necessarily supporting some of the best strength, especially coming out of a program like Alabama, normally they have the athleticism. Do you think that him not really having one thing he can lean on one way or the other is worthy of a top 10 pick?
Yes, I think that his ability to pass protect is very, very good. They'll work on that athleticism, get him running some laps, and I think he'll be just fine.
Let's see. Now we got the Jacksonville Jaguars getting their pick officially on the board here. Zach Allen, the defensive end out of Boston College at 11.
Yeah, I think he reached a little bit. We had him at 16, but that Jacksonville defense is a very dominant defense. 6'5", 285 pounds. Very physical end. He does have a high motor. He's very disciplined. He doesn't bite on the play action. His weakness, I'd say, would be he's not the fastest end. He tends to play the run a little bit more, but again, on that Jacksonville defense, I think he'll fit right in.
Yeah, it's funny you speak about the fastest, because next we actually have the Panthers taking Ja'Kai Polite out of Florida, who racked up I think he had the number 1 40 time in the combine for defensive ends, comes off the board at 12.
Wow. Yeah, what a speedster. 6'2", 242 pounds. The name Curse kind of comes to mind. Remember the Titans defensive end Curse, who could he was a freak of nature, could fly. Very explosive pass rusher, great athleticism. A little bit undersized, but I mean, he is such a fast guy. He does kind of lack a little bit on the run defense, so we see him as a third down end maybe.
I do want to chime in here.
Go ahead.
Do you guys a little surprised that the overalls coming off the board in the first round here? We've seen, Kyler Murray was a little low. I believe he was a 74. The outside linebacker that went to the Raiders, 71. So, Elton Jenkins, the center from Mississippi State, just went. He's a 74.
No, because a lot of these guys coming out of the draft lack awareness. Awareness tends to rise pretty quick. I think once that awareness rises, these guys are going to jump up in overalls.
I personally, I feel like the overalls now for the defensive players so far maybe a little bit low, but of course we've also seen some get up to the 83. As for the quarterbacks, though, I think this properly reflects them. This was a very weak quarterback class, which is the reason why you see so many teams trying to avoid taking a quarterback this year. So I feel like in that regard, they're pretty accurate.
I agree.
Definitely, man. The development and everything that we'll see throughout the course of the season, the seasons, to come, we'll definitely see how these guys pan out.
Now, real quick, before we move on to pick 13 and 14 that have come in for the Buccaneers and Redskins, you said Curse earlier as a comparison for Polite. I have another name for you. And as I said that, now I can no longer think of his name. Who was the defensive end out of Oregon a couple of years back that won the first round and kind of flaked out?
Oh, I'm not sure on that one.
Oh, shoot.
I got you guys. It's on the tip of my brain.
Yeah, I had it. That's it, Deion Jordan. That's the name I want to throw as a comparison for him. So we'll see. Is he going to be a Curse or a Jordan? I think it can really go either way. But Buccaneers at 13 take free safety Deontay Thompson.
Wow.
What do you think about that pick?
That's a bit of a surprise. I mean, it is a necessity for him. So again, the general manager obviously saw something there, reached out, grabbed him. They felt it was the best player at that position, I guess, at that time of the draft. So good for them.
Yeah, I'm checking here. I'm trying to see, guys, if you can post the cards for the players in the Discord, and we'll try to talk about them as we see them come up on there, just to give us a little bit more in-depth look at how they did turn out. Continuing down, though, the Washington Redskins address their offensive line, take center Elgton Jenkins at 14.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't see a center coming off so early, but again, offensive lines is a necessity in this league, and I guess now's the time to grab them. Like you said earlier, these guys, it's a defensive heavy draft. Some of these teams feel like they could get up there and take an offensive player, and that's exactly what they did.
I think we have officially hit the first huge surprise in this draft. The Falcons take Andy Isabella out of UMass. What? Yeah. That would explain something. That would explain it.
He may have drafted himself.
On Andy Isabella, earlier before the draft, around the Senior Bowl, coached by John Gruden, he did have a good game. A lot of people at his height, 5'8", 186, it's not ideal for an NFL center or wide receiver. I'm sorry, but a lot of people after the Senior Bowl referred to him as the next Julian Edelman. And it does make sense in the respect with his undersized receiver, and how close he is to them, athletically, 5'9", 198 for Edelman. Wes Welker even 5'9", 190. So can he be that kind of guy in Atlanta? Is that the type of person and player that we'll see? Who knows? Will they have the same success as those two guys? Who knows? But if it's a pick that works out for them, they obviously believe that he's the guy, and they'll move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't get behind the pick in any aspect whatsoever. Even if he does reach Edelman level, I still feel like that's a guy that you maybe take a reacher on in the second or third round. Especially, well, I feel like in the second, third, maybe at that point you can take a flyer, just not in the middle of the first round. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but in Atlanta's defense, they do have Julio Jones and Ridley, so I think they'll be just fine.
Fair. I don't know. Anyway, continuing on with wide receivers that I don't know if necessarily should have been taken at this point in the draft, the Packers select wide receiver Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Yeah, that one's a surprise too. I don't really have any information on. Again, a little speedster a la Julian Edelman. I guess not really a speedster, but just kind of quick off the line.
Yeah, I don't have much on him either. I looked at him at one point, never crossed my mind to take him this early. But again, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it'll turn out that way. I do see in the chat, in the Discord chat, kind of a better understanding as to why somebody like Isabella was taken. But I hate to break it to you guys, I think that was a glitch and not a true indicator of what he should have been. Just want to say, okay? Continuing on down, the Vikings address their secondary and take cornerback Byron Murphy out of Washington. How do you like this pick?
Very good pick. Again, defensive-oriented draft. Correct me if I'm wrong. He is the first corner taken in the draft, right?
Second. Greedy Williams came off earlier.
That's right. Yep. So Byron Murphy, 5'11", 184 pounds, smaller corner, but he does have great awareness, good instincts. He does have a good frame for his size. His weakness is his strength. Obviously, 5'11", 184 pounds. Sometimes he does bite on the pump fake, so we'll see how he pans out.
All right, let's see Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. He definitely, his feet are probably his number one asset. He's exceptionally balanced. He's quick. He's patient, and he makes, very clean transitions. And then he's explosive. He can, plant, drive, and burst when breaking forward. So it's going to be up to his feet. His coverage is really well. His weaknesses are going to be against the run and run support. So we'll see how they can tie that in and work on that for him.
All right, Cleveland Browns pick is officially in, and we have the defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons coming off the board at 18.
Yeah, a good pick. I mean, a lot of these defensive linemen have already come off the board, so Cleveland wanted to shore up that line. They do already have a pretty solid defensive line in Cleveland. I know that's kind of scary to say, with the Browns' recent history, but they are really building a solid team over there in Cleveland.
I apologize here real quick. I'm going to have to step away as it is getting close to my pick, so I'm going to kind of mute myself while I do my own little research real quick. I know these guys are going to hold it down, though, so I'll be back.
We are going to hold it
All
down.
right.
So the
All right.
taking a look here, Rashawn Gary going. I was hoping he would fall to me, but yeah, that wasn't going to happen. But yeah, he falls to Titans. Can't believe that this guy, this stud, actually fell this far down. Talk about him.
Yeah, so Gary come in rated number 10 in our draft board. 6'5", 283 pounds, very good power, good hand movement, great motor skills. His weaknesses, he does his footwork a little bit. His size kind of plays a little bit of a factor in defensive end. I kind of see this guy coming in on third downs, maybe rushing the passer.
What do you think, Collins?
I'm sorry, fellas. I missed that small portion dealing with something here at home.
So kind of going off of what you said, he's got, his weakness is really, like you had touched on, his size and his footwork. I think he's going to be used more than just a pass rushing. The nice thing about Gary is you can use him in a 4-3 or a 3-4 end. He's got the strength to carry in the 3-4 scheme. So I think he's going to be an every down end. And I'll be honest with you, as of right now, this guy is a steal for me. He's probably the steal of the draft thus far.
Yeah, and he's again rated number 10. He's pick 19 he was taken, so he fell 9 spots from where we had him predicted. Yeah, I could see him used with that speed. Yeah, very versatile defensive end. I know he does lack a little bit of size, but I think his speed will make up for it.
So, we've seen some really big surprises, and for me, obviously, it was the receiver out of Connecticut. But watching these quarterbacks, I can't believe part of me thinks I can understand why they went so high, but I don't know. There's part of me that doesn't understand why they went so high.
Looks like Arizona's pick is in. Cardinals coming out and grabbing Riley Ridley, wide receiver out of Georgia. What do you think about that pick?
I like it. He's a big body receiver. He can make the catches. He did really well in Georgia. In my opinion, he's probably one of the best wide receivers in this class. Doesn't have the sexy speed as some of your other wide receivers have, but I do really like Ridley. I think that he's going to be able to get plugged in there, and he's going to learn from one of the best receivers to ever play the game, Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, he comes in at a 90 speed, 77 overall. He does have good size. Yeah, I think that's a solid weapon in Arizona. I think it's a very good pick. I really like what Arizona's done in this draft so far.
Yeah, they actually had to fill a lot of needs. Going with Bosa was a no-brainer, but getting Ridley this early, I think that if you would have asked him if Ridley was going to be there at the 20th pick, he's probably top 5 on his board. He has to be with his lack of receivers.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That Arizona team, yeah, I really think they need a quarterback still. I know Tyrod Taylor's on that roster. He's probably the starter coming into preseason unless they are able to pick up a gem here in the quarterback position. But aside from that offense is looking good. They do have some holes on the offensive line, but I like this pick. Riley Ridley, I think he is the number 1 wide receiver in the draft.
Well, the problem with the quarterback, and it's a good thing that you brought that up, there is really a drop-off from from Haskins and Murray to the next step. My next choice at quarterback would have been Drew Lock, but I think there's a huge drop down. He's kind of a guy that you can get in that second round. So I think that if Cardinals is looking for a quarterback with his second pick, which is coming up here not too soon or not too far away, he will be able to draft him.
All right, the Seattle Seahawks pick is in. We have Uni Kajusti, left tackle out of West Virginia.
Yeah, so one of the things that I've noticed about this draft, it was very defense heavy, not a lot of great offensive linemen, but honestly, if you go from Jonah Williams, there was a little bit of a drop-off. Yanni is actually probably the second best left tackle in this draft. If you look at the Seahawks struggle the last 3 or 4 years, it has been that offensive line. So one of the needs that they just filled was the left tackle. He doesn't have a great overall. I'm guessing he's going to be a normal or quick development. But I do like the pick because, to be honest with you, you have to fill that line. This guy is more of a pass blocking left tackle. So I think that you're going to see them start rebuilding and protecting Russell Wilson with that pick.
And I do think he matches up pretty well on that offensive line with some veterans, Dwayne Brown, Justin Britt, DJ Fluker. These are some guys that have been around the league for quite some time, have some experience. So as an older offensive line, to get the rookie in there and kind of bring him on board, it's an offensive line that can click with the offense that they have behind them, with Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, all those mobile guys. This could be an offense that really clicks.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. Brown's 34 years old. He's getting up there in age. The Seahawks don't have a whole lot of depth on that line. So I think this draft pick here is kind of to address that and provide them with a little bit of depth.
So the Houston Texans have made their pick. I don't know if we got to the Ravens yet, so let's get back to that.
I did. I just got my pick in.
The Ravens went ahead and selected DK Metcalf. So he does fall to 22, which could be surprising for most. His size and his athleticism was a huge factor coming into this, but he's a guy that doesn't really have too much experience. He's been injured. He's been off the field a lot. He has less than 70 career, receptions in college football. So this is a big question mark. Is he going to be able to take the next step? Is he going to be able to stay healthy? But with with Lamar Jackson, is that a team that he can really drive forward?
Yeah, he does possess the aggressive catch trait. He is a 90 speed wide receiver, sub 90 acceleration. He is 82 catching, 84 catch in traffic. He does have some really good tools here. He is very good with the spectacular catch. So you can man him up on the outside and let him go to work on some of the shorter corners. He does have 89 jumping, 87 agility, and an admirable 77 release. So he can get off the line. I think he's a good weapon in Baltimore.
So I do want to go ahead and announce the Houston Texans, my own pick, I guess, as you can say.
So the Texans pick. Smith. Yeah, Texans pick is in. Tight end out of Alabama, Irv Smith Jr., 75 overall. Solid pick in Texas. I like this selection. Very fast tight end, borderline wide receiver with an 87 speed. Great weapon in Houston to complement Hopkins.
I think he'll mesh right in. I think it was a surprising pick. We didn't essentially know what we were going to do down to the last moment. But as a team with 2 second-round picks and a lot of moving pieces, we feel that this is someone that can jump right in and accelerate our offense. We loved him when we met with him and everything that we've seen. So, hey, with 2 second-round picks, we'll have more opportunity to focus on other areas. But you have to take the best player available on your board, and this guy was there.
So the Jacksonville Jaguars pick is in. We have cornerback out of Georgia, DeAndre Baker, 75 overall. Very good pick. He's got decent size. Again, that Jacksonville defense is lights out. This just adds more weapons to that defensive arsenal in Jacksonville.
They're adding DeAndre Baker with that middle linebacker they just got. Jalen Ramsey, Andrew Boye, Miles Jack. That defense is going to be lethal. Watch out. AFC South.
So
Yeah,
currently
comes in. Sorry, go ahead.
currently, currently we have the Philadelphia Eagles on the clock. They've got about 50 seconds left to pick. What do you think of the draft so far, Rajan?
A pretty decent draft so far. Surprised on a couple of picks. A little bit disappointed with my pick. I was hoping he was going to come in a little bit better than that, but still somebody who's very workable. I will admit, I actually was arguing between the next two players that went after mine, between Baker and Irv, but still pretty happy with the way mine turned out. Now, as for everybody else, obviously, the value of each pick is held within each user's eye on that one. But overall, pretty happy with the consistency we're seeing from the overall. Still surprised we've seen some players get taken. Still surprised we're seeing some players still on the board. Curious what's going to be the next quarterback to fall. We still have two quarterbacks on the board with first-round grades, but I still don't feel like we're going to see one of those taken for a while.
And there you go. The Eagles pick is in. Eagles drafting Andre Dillard, left tackle out of Washington State, coming in at a 72 overall. What do you think of that selection?
I feel like it's a desperation. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, I think it helps an offensive line that you need to support, Carson Wentz. He's been injured. And, this is your guy. You have to support him. You have to make sure he's going to be upright. Because they definitely had a down year last year with him. So they have to, moving forward, they have to put the right pieces on that offense. They need to solidify from deep down in the depths, and this does that. They're hoping to build a wall and keep out the defense.
All right, Hall of Fame head coach, you're blessed, has made his selection in Indianapolis. We have cornerback out of Notre Dame, Julian Love, 74 overall. What do you guys think of that selection?
Good pick here for Indy. Gets them a solid selection out there in the secondary. We'll see if they're going to be able to turn that defense even more, turn it around. I know Bless is a great owner. I've known him for a long time. Definitely more of an offensive-minded guy, so it's kind of curious to see him not go after, honestly, Marquise Brown. That was his name, right? Yeah, Marquise Brown. That's kind of who I figured he was going to target here. So a little bit of a surprise, but a solid pick.
Yeah, and don't forget, they did sign Martavius Bryant and Dorsett in free agency, so those two guys can absolutely run. So maybe that kind of influenced his decision to go defense.
Perhaps, bro. I mean, that's what I would guess. But still, Blessed, we all know, loves his speedy receivers. So we'll see. But again, a great pick, going to help that team a lot.
All right, the Arizona Cardinals pick is in at 27. And they have drafted defensive tackle Christian Wilkins out of Clemson, 73 overall. Think of that selection.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
And see, I'm kind of the opposite. Now you got somebody on the inside who was going to be able to develop into. I feel like maybe it's a little bit early for him, but someone who you're going to be able to turn into a force in the middle.
I mean, pairing him with Nick Bosa. I mean, between the two of them coming into that, I just think the Cardinals had a couple more needs, and they already have some players on the defensive line and on the defense that'll be lethal. He plugs the hole, he plugs the middle. It's gonna be hard to run. I just think the Cardinals had other areas of needs here.
Yeah, I would like to see him go offensive line. I apologize. Go ahead.
I think Christian Wilkins is going to get a nice payday here from Arizona. I don't think he anticipated being drafted this early. However, this is Arizona's third pick in the first round. So I'm thinking they went with a little bit of depth there. This coming in, it appears that the Los Angeles Chargers pick is in. The Chargers pick another defensive tackle out of Ohio State, Dramont Jones, 74 overall. What do you guys think of that selection?
Good pick. This is one of the biggest weaknesses of the Chargers defense is that interior line. Now they have somebody just like the last pick. Now you have somebody who's going to be able to pair up with the other Bosa brother and Melvin Ingram off the edge. Just gives them another force right up the middle.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the Chargers, to me, have one of the best defenses in the game. You just kind of shore up that defensive line, add another piece to that puzzle, and let them just come after the quarterback. So up next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. Coach, swing on these. This Chiefs team is loaded on offense. What do you guys think they're going to go here?
Got to go defense. Got to go defense. There's still some talent out there, and that's probably arguably the biggest weakness of this team. So, I mean, I don't see any way they don't go defensive side of the ball. There's still plenty of picks out there. Montez Sweet, he's a little bit older, someone I was also looking at as someone I could see be taken here. They could also maybe go Noah Fant if they're not really feeling Kelsey, maybe getting up there in age a little bit. Still, they got plenty. There's too much talent out here on defense for them not to go that way.
I almost think that they need to look at a running back too. I know they did lose Hunt. Hunt is a Brown now, so I'm thinking we could see the Chiefs possibly go running back here.
I do think it's a little early for the Chiefs to go running back, just due to the adding the addition of Peyton Barber, and that's really the thing with the Chiefs this offseason. They did do a lot of adding to their offense, which is why I do think they go defense. They got Tardif on the offensive line, Mitch Morse. They've added a couple tight ends, Deion Yelder, who's a little bit less known, but Tyler Croft, who's a veteran. So I do think they go defense. They need to get another corner. They just got Eric Rowe, but is he someone that can step in immediately and get the job done? We're not sure, but we'll see.
So they did take the running back. They took Jacobs, best running back on the board, in my opinion, 78 overall. He does have good speed, so maybe they did need to address that running back position.
Yeah, and he's followed up by Wes, looking like a terrible pick, though, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Montez Sweet, who I was just talking positively about, is not looking too positive right now. But I do like the pick of Jacobs for the Chiefs, able to replace Hunt now and gives them what could be a superstar for him in the future.
Definitely a 1-2 punch that could be lethal, just dominating with Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick is in. They selected middle linebacker out of Michigan, Devin Bush, 73 overall. I feel it's a good pick. What do you guys think?
Honestly, surprised it didn't go earlier. That's where I kind of sit on it. They continue to address the linebacker position here, calling up a Bush who I thought was going to be graded more near the end of the first round. So a solid pick for him.
And this coming in, the Arizona Cardinals pick is in to start off the second round. We have middle linebacker out of Alabama, Mack Wilson, 70 overall. How do you guys feel about that selection?
I think he's a little low overall-wise, but still a solid pickup. They continue to address that defense, that front seven, so just another force for them there. Something else to talk about, though, the Rams actually taking wide receiver Kelvin Harmon, not taking Brown there with that 31st pick.
Yeah, that's a little interesting. I figured they would have went with the speed, but, who are we to question that Rams offense? This pick just in out of Jacksonville. Wide receiver Marquise Brown, Oklahoma, 74 overall coming off the board. There's the guy you were talking about.
Yeah, huge upside there for him with that top-end speed. The second fastest receiver in this draft. Love the pick.
All right, this just in. The 49ers pick is in. San Francisco Hall of Fame head coach Seahawks. He selects wide receiver Ohio State Paris Campbell, 73 overall.
I mean, you get a weapon for Garoppolo. I don't know a lot about Campbell. I didn't really look at him a whole lot, so I don't have a lot on him. But, hey, he's a weapon. It gives them something to work with out there in San Francisco, as weird it is to hear San Francisco being owned by the Seahawks. But, hey, we'll see how he turns out. I want to see his card.
They needed someone to put with Dante Pettis, Garcon, Goodwin. I think in the future we see Pettis and Campbell become the 1-2 punch there. Garcon's getting a little older. Goodwin, dominant on the outside. So one of these guys definitely would be in the slot. I think it's a good move to have all three of them out there, all four of them when they can, especially with George Kittle and Jimmy Garoppolo. That's an offense that can really shine. It was underwhelming to see Garoppolo go down last year, so I'm excited to see what they can do. And I expect big things.
I like the pick personally. I think it adds another weapon in San Francisco. On the clock right now, we've got the Indianapolis Colts. About 40 seconds or so left on the clock for them, so I'm really curious as to what the Colts take here.
Something to say real quick. Harmon actually coming in with star dev So that actually makes that pick a lot more valuable looking. Comes in with some solid catching stats. I'm looking at his card now. Needs to work on that route running, but a solid pick there for the Rams.
Yeah, I didn't foresee him being as good as he is there, but that's a very good selection.
The Indianapolis
All right.
Colts pick is officially in. Go ahead, Soden.
Yeah, the Colts pick is in. We've got right tackle out of Ole Miss, Greg Little, 73 overall.
Shores up that offensive line even more. That's two top round picks for the Colts in back-to-back years. They got Quentin Nelson last year. Now Greg Little out of Ole Miss. Just trying to make sure Andrew Luck stays upright.
So what do you think? What do you guys think the Dolphins are looking at here with about 1:30, pick number 5? Dolphins, I think, need some weapons here on offense. What do you guys think?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like we're going to see Noah Fant come off the board here. They traded their tight end to the Patriots to help move up in the first. I don't see Noah Fant lasting past this pick.
They got to go offensive line for me. They need someone in the center. They need guards. They just simply have no one down there right now. Tunzel and James. It's just a position of need. They definitely got to address that. Kyler Murray coming into town. It's you got to do it.
Yeah, I feel like they were hoping that Brown was still going to be on the board here. So I think they're disappointed in him not being there. And there you go. Go ahead.
All right, Dolphins pick is in. We have right tackle, Oklahoma, Cody Ford, 73 overall. I think you guys hit the nail on the head there.
Keeping the Oklahoma connection going there. He protected him last year, going to protect him now on the next level. I don't have a lot on him, but 73 overall, solid pick here at the start of the second round.
So this is exactly what you want. A guy coming in, he's 6'4", 329 pounds. He's massive for a left tackle. 34-inch arms. His hands are. He should become an instant starter. He's a guy he's strong. He's agile. He can attack the run, the pass. The rush on the run. And it's going to be really nice to see him down in Miami and see what him and Kyler can accomplish.
All right. Well, I got word the New York Giants selection is in. Wide receiver A.J. Brown out of Ole Miss.
Solid pick here. Gets him another weapon. I don't necessarily believe that wide receiver was a huge need for him. I would have liked them to go quarterback here, especially with two quarterbacks that I feel like are second round viable at this point. But maybe they know something we don't.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of weapons in New York. I feel like they need that quarterback position shored up, but I think it's a good pick. This just in, Jacksonville Jaguars. Middle linebacker out of Clemson, Trey Lamar, 73 overall. Jacksonville really working that defense.
Yeah, gets another front seven member here. I don't necessarily like the pick. I have a feeling we're going to see him get moved. But looking at him now, comes in 85 speed, so another speedy, athletic linebacker there. Decent run block shedding, honestly. I would like to see what his dev is, but overall, solid pick. Would have liked him, seen him go. Maybe offensive line there, though.
Yeah, I don't know. That Jacksonville defense is just so solid. I mean, it's arguably the best in the league. They just keep adding. Well, they did trade their linebacker. Let's not forget the trade with the Broncos. So
Sure.
they did send him away, so they needed a position to fill there. I think it's a good pick.
I'm just going to go ahead and say if I'm the Lions, I'm very upset right now. That's a linebacker group that you need to improve, and Trey Lamar coming off the board one pick ahead of you.
Yeah, and it looks like Detroit's working the clock here, so I think you hit that nail on the head as well. They're down to 46 seconds here on the timer, so they might be scrambling, looking for somebody else. Maybe they didn't think Lamar come off the board.
And one thing I want to this is danger. This is Alpha Hill. One thing that I wanted to I did trade the middle linebacker, so that was a huge need for me. I really didn't want Lamar. I was kind of throwing a shot in the wind there. I'm with it. I mean, I wish I would have gotten somebody else, but he's got quick development. He's gonna start next to Miles Jack, so he's got some decent block shed there. I am trying to get this defense going. There's a method to my madness with this, so to speak. So,
All right, this just in. The Detroit Lions pick is in. Wide receiver N'Keal Harry, 73 overall out of Arizona State. What do you guys think?
I don't know if I necessarily like this pick. Another player that I'm not too overall familiar with, but I will ask you this. Do you feel like at this point, now that they know quarterbacks haven't really been looked at a lot by these teams, do you think maybe they regret taking quarterbacks so early in the draft?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I think you were right, too. Those quarterbacks came off quick. This just in, the Buffalo Bills. Deebo Samuel, wide receiver out of South Carolina, 72 overall.
A solid pick, someone I was looking at. Wasn't really feeling his upside too much, but I feel like in the second round at this point, a solid pickup for the Bills. They give Josh Allen someone who can, who they feel like they can attack down the field with. I like the pick. I do like the pick.
Yeah, Buffalo needs some weapons too. That offense has struggled, so hopefully he can bring some depth into that Buffalo offense.
Looking here in the chat real quick, we got the Bucks owner in there, highly displeased with the way Mr. Sweat came out on that one. The 69 overall first round pick for the Bucks. That's just the way it falls sometimes, brother. I honestly thought he was going to be a little higher, but hey, that's just the way it goes. Go ahead, son.
All right, Dallas's pick is in. Dallas selects another wide receiver, Hakeem Butler out of Ohio State, 72 overall.
A run on wide receivers here all of a sudden, which really surprises me because there's still a lot of talent on the board. We still got three quarterbacks that I feel like could be taken now at any point. There's going to be some teams that are chomping at the bit now to take one of these guys. There's still some defensive presence out there. Still haven't seen Noah Fant come off the board, which is surprising, and we could see him go here. He just came off the board. There you go.
Just came off the board, yeah. So Denver Broncos drafting this tight end. Very surprised. I don't know about you, Cajun, but I'm very surprised to watch Fant drop this far into the draft.
I agree. He was the tight end that I felt was going to really be a game changer for somebody. I was looking at Irv just because I felt like I had a little bit better feeling about Irv, but no reason Fant should have fallen to this point, and they are going to be loving him in Denver.
Yeah, so Noah Fant comes in 75 overall. He's got 84 speed, 85 acceleration. Looks to be a good playmaker, 80 catch in traffic, somebody that can go over the middle. He does possess the aggressive catch trait, which is very good for a tight end. Says Noah is ranked number 1 in true talent overall for tight ends at number 43.
Wow. Hell of a pick. We had a couple other picks come off the board here. I'm going to try to get over to the transactions because they flew off the board very quickly. We now got 3 that we're going to call here. Starting off with offensive tackle Jawan Taylor going to the Panthers, 69 overall, I believe is what I saw. And then middle linebacker Voshan Joseph going to the Dolphins at 13.
Excellent pick by the Dolphins. They need that help in the middle. I think they got it. And, Joseph should be a very good weapon for them.
And then the Redskins drafting what could be the quarterback of the future for them, Duke quarterback Daniel Jones going at 14.
I'm kind of surprised they went with Jones. I just got to throw this out here. I'm sorry. I'm surprised they went with Jones here. For some reason, Drew Lock has been falling very far down the draft. And I don't know. Maybe they liked some of the intangibles that he had that Drew Lock didn't have. But I believe that Drew Lock had the stronger arm.
Yeah, Luck did have a stronger arm, but again, maybe there were some questions coming into the combine. We don't know. Maybe the Redskins didn't really like the interview. We'll just have to see how Daniel Jones pans out in Washington.
I do want to throw this in there. Now that Jones is gone, do the Packers think maybe it's time to think ahead? You've had Brett Hundley for a couple of years. He hasn't, obviously you still have Aaron Rodgers. Is he the kind of guy that you've seen in the past that you like, or do you kind of think about getting a guy in from Aaron Rodgers, kind of do the Patrick Mahomes type, kind of essentially what Aaron Rodgers did with Brett Favre? Is this the time? Is Drew Lock worth this pick here?
I feel like we're going to see Locke come off the board in one of the 3 next picks. I can see Atlanta trying to find the replacement for Matt Ryan. I agree Green Bay could be looking to the future, and maybe Minnesota not really feeling Cousins, not feeling that contract too much. I can see him go either one.
Yeah, it looks like Atlanta is walking up to the podium now, and their pick is in. The Atlanta Falcons go right end out of Clemson. Clelin Ferrell, 75 overall. Like a good pick here, guys.
Great pick there.
Definitely a great pick. I know there were some people hoping he would fall to the mid-second round. Probably pretty upset right now, but other than that, great pick. He's going to be a stud.
Green Bay's pick is in. Jonathan Abraham, strong safety. I think a really good pick here for Green Bay. I know they were looking at that quarterback position, but a good safety coming off the board here, guys.
Yeah, I agree. You replace Clinton Dix now. You get yourself set up for the future. Comes in solid overall. A great pick there. And then the Minnesota Vikings deciding to address that offensive line, taking left guard Michael Dieter out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, this is a bit of a surprising pick for me coming out of Minnesota. They must believe in their current quarterback situation, so they're going to build that offensive line around him. It may be a good pick. Coach Waffle's a very good owner, so we'll see.
You think maybe they're hoping a quarterback's going to default to them in the third?
That's a lot to gamble on. Looks like the Cleveland Browns pick is in here. Cleveland takes right tackle Dalton Reisner, 73 overall, Kansas State.
Trying to protect their future, trying to protect Baker Mayfield, and just continues to try to hopefully improve an offensive line that I feel like is close to being good, but still needs a little help. I feel like you could have maybe waited a little bit more, maybe get some of the top of the third, but a solid pick overall coming in at 73 overall.
All right, up next, we've got the Tennessee Titans with about 1:20 here ticking down. Pick number 19 in the second round. What do you guys think Tennessee needs to look at here?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to take a look here at these Titans here real quick. There's not anybody on the board that I feel like jumps out to me at this point because obviously they'll need a quarterback. Mariota's probably going to be, their franchise forever. So
they're very thin at the offensive line, so this is a nice pick to consider. Someone who has a later draft board, but someone like Bobby Evans, Tyler Biadasz, however you pronounce his last name, Michael Jordan, Caleb McGarry, all late second to early third round draft picks. But when you need something and you have a pick, sometimes you need to take a gamble. You need to protect Deion Lewis, who's been injured, Marcus Mariota, who's been injured. And give them some time to throw the ball and provide the holes necessary to run.
You can never go wrong with drafting Michael Jordan.
Yep, that's fair. But I honestly feel like I'm going to see him go for the front seven here. I like the Old Dominion speed rusher whose name I am not going to even attempt to pronounce. So I'll try O'Shane something out of Old Dominion.
And Tennessee's pick is in, gentlemen. We have right end out of Old Dominion, Zimenez, 72 overall. We'll just call him X, guys. What do you think of this pick in X?
Hey, I love the pick. I called it before, and I feel like that's going to immediately improve their front seven, and the picks are flying off the board now.
Yes, Drew Lock, picked by the Steelers. He fell all the way down to Pittsburgh. Very good pick. I like that pick a lot. And then we have the Houston Texans coming out and grabbing left guard out of Ohio State, Michael Jordan, 69 overall.
For the Steelers, I feel like not a great pick. You already got 2 guys. You've already drafted 2 guys before that's supposed to be the heir apparent there in Pittsburgh, so I feel like that's a bit of a wasted pick there. And as for the Texans, I'm not wild about it. I understand the intentions behind it, but not a great player to fall in their laps here.
Yeah.
So looking at Drew Lock, he comes in at a 70 overall. We did anticipate his overall dropping off after Murray was drafted in Haskins, but he does possess, as Alpha said, 95 throw power. The guy's got an arm. He can 83 throw on the run, 77 play action. I think it's a good pick in Pittsburgh, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with Big Ben.
Yeah, looking at the numbers now and looking at his card, I feel like it's a solid pick. Just get that awareness up, and he immediately starts to become at least a viable backup for him. I feel like there was already enough talent on that roster at the quarterback position to warrant not taking one here.
Yeah, so currently we have the Philadelphia Eagles on the clock down to pick number 22, about 30 seconds left here. This Eagles roster is pretty loaded. I'm really wondering what these guys are going after here.
Maybe address the backup quarterback position. I'm not sure if they still got Nick Foles. Nasir Adderley out of Delaware, the free safety, could be a decent pickup. I know that secondary is getting kind of old, a little long in the tooth on the back end. Maybe.
Yeah, Coach legit likes offense. I think he goes offense here, and the Eagles are walking up to the podium, and their pick is in. The Eagles make me a liar. Defensive tackle out of Clemson, Dexter Lawrence, 75 overall.
Continuing to build up that defensive line, comes in at a decent overall. The defensive line class is amazing here so far. Just another great pick for these Eagles.
Houston's pick is in. Tyler Badas, center out of Wisconsin, 73 overall. Another good selection on the O-line.
Yeah, a much better pick this time around as opposed to the guard on their last pick. Gives them a solid solution up the middle.
All right. Patriots pick is in. I looked at this guy too, but I had to pass when Noah was there. Tight end out of Texas A&M, maybe Gronkowski's replacement, Jack Sternberger, 74 overall.
With not Roethlisberger, with Gronk's health and his decision making kind of up in the air every offseason, I like the idea of going out, getting his potential successor already on roster. So decent pick there for him.
Philadelphia's pick is in. We've got quarterback out of Clemson, Trayvon Mullins, 74 overall.
A great pick for him. I feel like that secondary did need to be addressed a little bit. Probably the weakness of that defense. Love the pick.
We've got the New York Jets on the clock here. Round 2, pick number 26. About a minute 30 left here on their clock. Jets do need some weapons here. I'm really curious to see what New York does.
Yeah, plenty of options out there. I'm looking at the board now and trying to see who we still got out here. Maybe address the tight end position. There's TJ Hawkinson. Not someone I'm necessarily high on, but he is on the board. Maybe go running back. They're still too pretty. Well, no, they got never mind. I know they ignore that pick. Forgot they did get they did get Le'Veon Bell in the offseason. I don't know. This is kind of a toss-up pick here.
It looks like the Jets pick is in here. Jets are approaching the podium, and they have picked left tackle Trey Adams, 70 overall out of Washington.
Decent pick, addresses an offensive line that is lackluster at best. Probably better players out there, but going to decide to protect their franchise quarterback, Darnold. I like it. Overall, I like it.
Yeah, we've got the Dallas Cowboys on the clock here with pick number 27. Curious to see what Dallas does. Dallas does have a good roster here, good playoff team with a very good defense. They do have Amari Cooper. They did cough up a first-round pick for him. So I'm curious to see what Dallas does here late in the second round.
Could see them address the secondary a bit. Trayvon Diggs is still out there, the 6'2" corner out of Alabama. Not necessarily the quickest corner you'll see on the market, but hey, not a terrible pick there. Looking around, honestly, this isn't a great position for him because I feel like a lot of players that would address their needs are not really there, or maybe a little too early to take them. So I don't know.
Coach Triple Aries, he's doing a fantastic job with Dallas lately. Just a very highly competitive coach. So whoever they draft here, I'm sure he'll put to good use. They don't really have any holes. And the pick is in. Dallas Cowboys, middle linebacker out of USC, Cameron Smith, 71 overall.
I see him as being moved to the weak side here because they already last year took Leighton Vander Esch out of Boise State to secure that offensive line and be the heir apparent for Sean Lee. And then, of course, you got Jalen Smith in the middle. So I feel like Smith is going to be a weak side linebacker for him. Decent pick, 71 overall here in the second round. I like it. I can get behind it.
All right, the Los Angeles Chargers pick is in. We have center out of Penn State, Connor McGovern, 73 overall.
Good pick here. Addresses another weakness of this Chargers team. The line on both sides is really somewhere they need to address. I have a feeling we're going to see him move to one of the guard spots, but a great pick here for the future for him.
Yeah, I like that pick coming out of Los Angeles.
Chiefs got to use one of these picks here for their secondary. I mean, there's just too much talent in the free safety position to overlook it right now. Horner, Trevor, and Diggs. I think the Chiefs go safety with one of these. Secondary with one of these two picks here.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Coach Swing is a very defensive-oriented head coach too, so I think he's looking over that secondary now as we speak.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, secondary's got to be the pick here.
So we're at round 2, pick number 29. Approximately 1 minute left here for Kansas City Chiefs. Following the Chiefs, we've got the New Orleans Saints and then the Chiefs again. So a great chance for Kansas City to try to pick up a couple picks.
And now that we get into some of the later rounds, some of these trades that were made, I mean, you look up and you see Arizona on the clock almost every couple minutes. You know, they came in there with a new regime and they traded away players that they thought weren't the right pick. They, got a lot of capital in return. With the Steelers, they traded away Patrick Peterson. They got the first round draft pick, which they ended up, using. They ended up trading away Josh Rosen, DJ Humphries, Aaron Lynch to get, another 2 draft picks. They went out and they're putting everything on the line with this draft, and they've had a very nice draft, and I think it's working out well for them.
Well, great call here, Collids. Kansas City's pick is in. They draft free safety out of Delaware, Nassar Adderley, 72 overall.
I really like this pick. He's someone that I was personally very high on. I think he has an opportunity to be an instant producer for this team, someone who can come in and definitely make big plays for them. Love the pick.
So going back a couple picks here, we had the Dallas Cowboys select middle linebacker Cameron Smith. Looking at his card now, 84 speed. Looks like a very solid selection. 88 acceleration. Watch that pass rush with him. Star development. Looks like a good pick there for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're saying, he said there in the chat, star dev linebacker to complete my 3-4. I don't feel like it was really a huge need for him, but when you have someone who comes out and looks that good on paper, what do I know?
So the New Orleans Saints are on the clock here. They got pick number 30, about 20 seconds or so left. Ticking down on them. They must be looking over that board. I would say that they were probably looking at Adderley there at free safety out of Delaware. Maybe the Chiefs stole their thunder.
Well, there's still plenty of safeties out there for them to take, though, that'll still come in and produce.
And the Saints are approaching the podium now. The Saints pick is in. Let's see what New Orleans selects. And they select free safety out of Washington, Taylor Rapp, 72 overall.
This was where I think a lot of people would have had them pegged after, seeing how the first couple, the first 30 or so picks panned out, and I think this is the right pick. I think for both the two guys that just went to free safeties, and I think a lot of people would be surprised that they fell.
See, in my opinion, I would have looked at, if you're wanting a safety position, I would have probably looked at Chancey Gardner-Johnson out of Florida above Rapp. I was just a little bit higher on Chauncey than I was on Rapp, but we'll see. Comes in, solid pick.
So we've had a few picks come in here. Kansas City drafted cornerback Kendall Sheffield. Then we had the Patriots come in instantly right behind him at the podium. They select left end Carl Granderson. And then the Cardinals right in line behind them select halfback Bryce Love. What do you guys think of those selections?
Honestly, as often as running backs get injured here recently, I love the pick by the Cardinals to get you a solid backup. Not 100% sure about Love, but when you look at the overall, and I feel like he's going to give them another weapon there on offense.
The Raiders pick is in. Free safety from North Alabama, Chris Johnson, 70 overall. What do you guys think of that one? It seems like a bit of a reach to me.
I'd have to agree with you on that. Someone, again, who I'm not too overall familiar with, and I'm someone who was looking at safety, so I think that kind of speaks volumes there.
And San Francisco's pick is in. They go linebacker from Lafayette, Jalen Ferguson, 69 overall. Again, that 49ers team is really lacking linebackers. I think he brings some depth to that team.
Yeah, the edge rusher there, I'm liking the pick. He's a little bit low overall, but honestly, I don't feel like this was a very strong draft for that position, so I like it overall.
All right, the New York Jets pick is in. Strong safety out of Florida, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, 73 overall. I think this is a pretty good pick for Coach Shanks.
Good pick. Not sure how he's going to work into the rotation there in that secondary, but I'm sure they're going to find a way to get him out there.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but he does possess pretty good speed. I could see maybe a move to corner for Johnson.
Yeah, maybe come in as a nickel corner every once in a while, step up there and give them a presence to stop the run in pass situations. I don't know. We'll see. They're going to have to find a way to get him out on the field somewhere.
And currently we are in the third round, pick number 5. Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock with about 30 seconds ticking down. Next up is the Pittsburgh Steelers. What do you guys think Tampa's looking at here?
Honestly, if I'm Tampa Bay, Will Greer's on the board. Third round, this is when you can take a chance. I'd go for it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you here. We've got about 10 seconds on that Bucs board. They must be really looking through those picks.
Or Trayvon Diggs. I think Trayvon Diggs could come off here as well. But if I was betting money, I would have to say Greer.
And the pick is in for Tampa Bay, and you called it. Quarterback, West Virginia, Will Greer, 69 overall.
I think it's a safe pick here. He's someone that could be developed. I'd like to look at his numbers a little bit closely, but overall a solid player, can come in, learn for a minute, not be expected to have to produce day one, something that dooms a lot of quarterbacks. I would like the pick.
Yeah, his awareness is a little bit low here, but he does possess good qualities, good starting quarterback qualities. The Pittsburgh Steelers pick is in. Tight end, Iowa, TJ Hawkinson, 74 overall.
The second Iowa tight end to be taken here in this draft gives them another option there. I know they haven't really been sold at that position for a little while, so not bad.
And the Jaguars pick is in. Sutton Smith, linebacker out of Northern Illinois, 75 overall. That's a pretty good pick for the third round.
Damn good pick for them. It just gives them another option at the linebacker position, just continuing to bolster that defense.
And Tom Brady sheds a smile here for New England. New England drafts right guard out of Maryland, Derwin Gray, 71 overall. Add some depth to that Patriot offensive line for Mr. Brady.
Tom Brady getting long in the tooth. Eventually when you start hitting a certain age, them hips, they start to wear out a little bit. Maybe going to see he'll trying to keep him upright so he doesn't throw it. I love the pick.
Yeah, it's going back a couple picks here. The Steelers, TJ Hawkinson, 81 speed, 84 acceleration. Solid pick in Pittsburgh. Buffalo's pick is in here. Right outside linebacker out of Kentucky, Jordan Jones, 67 overall. What do you think of that pick?
Not a great pick, but maybe a project pick. It could work out for him, but I think that he's going to need a little work. Something I do want to point out about TJ, though, real quick, the Steelers defense, 71 impact block. That's going to be something huge for the tight end position there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it looks like the Bengals snuck a pick in there while we were talking. Bengals draft a corner, Trevon Diggs. Very good pick for them in the third round. Patriots right behind him with a halfback. L.J. Scott coming to the Patriots. Tom Brady must still be smiling.
Two great picks back-to-back there. I thought Trayvon could have went either early or late or mid to late in the second, so they're going to love picking him up there in Cincinnati. And then New England continuing to bolster that running back committee, gives them another player behind Sony Michel. I love the pick.
Yeah, L.J. Scott to me screams that's a replacement for Burkhead, I think. Scott, I do think he's going to see some snaps like you behind White and behind Michelle. So I think it's a good pick for New England. Adds a little bit more depth to that to that running game. It lets them pound that football and then work on play action.
I'll say this. If I'm White, I'm going to start being worried about potentially seeing my snaps go down. We may see him try to get out of New England now.
Yeah, we've got the Carolina Panthers here on the clock. Number 12 pick in the third round. Looks like the Panthers pick is in. They're approaching the podium now. Carolina Panthers select another halfback out of Memphis, Darrell Henderson, 77 overall. He did grade really high on the draft board. I think he lacked a little bit of top-end speed. Overall, I think it's a pretty good pick. What do you think?
I think this is going to be one of the steals of the draft. He comes in 77 overall, already in prime position to produce behind Christian McCaffrey. I love this pick.
Yeah, looking back here at the Bengals pick, Trevon Diggs, his card is in. He possesses 90 speed, 90 acceleration, 89 agility, 76 press, 86 jumping. I think that's a good pick for them. 75 man coverage and 73 zone coverage.
Yeah, needs to shore up that coverage ability, but has the intangibles that you would love to see out of someone with his size. I'm just loving the pick more and more there for the Bengals. I'm not looking forward to having to play against them too often.
We have the Buccaneers on the clock right now, round 3, pick number 13. Approximately 24 seconds left on the clock here for them. What do you think the Bucs are looking at here?
You know, at this point, it's really hard to say. I'm gonna look here at what we got left on the board. Go offensive line. That would be my suggestion. Bobby Evans there was graded out as a second-round pick. Didn't have an outstanding combine, but still came in 35 reps on the bench press. That's about really all that I'd care too often about offensive line. A great power lineman. I think they couldn't go wrong there.
Yeah, so the Bucs pick is in. Bobby Evans, right tackle out of Oklahoma, 71 overall.
There we go. A decent pick for him there. I would like to see him come in a little bit higher overall, but definitely somebody they can slowly develop and build up into a great player.
Yeah, I like the pick there for Loaded Lunatic. I think he did a good job. The Bucs do need some offensive line help, like you said. So I like this pick here for Tampa.
He's coming in saying I'm trolling him. I don't know about all that, but hey, you know, he's better than your first overall or your first round pick. That's all I'm going to say.
So currently we have the Washington Redskins on the clock in the third round, pick number 14. Approximately 20 seconds left on the clock for them.
I think there's lots of options here at this point. If you're the Redskins, you're loving where you're at. You could try to address the secondary if you want to. I mean, there's plenty of players that could go here. I say go offensive line. There's still two good offensive linemen and out there at this point. Drew Samaya out of Oklahoma. I think we're going to see another Oklahoma lineman taken here.
And the Redskins pick is in. The Redskins go tight end out of UCLA, Caleb Wilson, 74 overall.
If this was a pick in the earlier rounds, I wouldn't really like it. But decent pick here, comes in 74 overall, so it gives you that option behind Reed, who is injury prone and getting older, which is never a good combination. So, okay pick. I would like them to go with offensive line, but an okay pick.
Yeah, so currently we have the Falcons, about a minute on the clock here. They own pick number 15. Atlanta's kind of been all over the board here as far as picks go. I'm not quite sure what to expect coming out of Atlanta. What do you think?
Honestly, I think they go quarterback here. Jarrett Stidham out of Auburn. He's a scrambler, so gives them another option there. Gives them some athleticism behind the line. I say get either your backup or your future replacement for Ryan.
I agree. I think all around Jarrett Stidham, he's just talented in multiple different ways, and I think he can come in there, learn for however long they feel necessary, and become the future starting quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons.
And the Falcons pick is in. The Falcons go right guard, Oklahoma, Drew Samia, 70 overall.
Okay, so I was a pick off. I like the pick. I would have liked to seen him try to get some insurance behind Ryan, but hey, there's no better insurance than keeping him upright. All
right, Green Bay's pick is in. Coach Hoyt. I really enjoy watching Coach Hoyt. Excuse me. Very, very good owner. Great stick skills. He elects to go free safety out of USC. Marvel Tell the third, 72 overall.
Now, this is their second safety they've drafted, correct?
You know, I'm not sure on that. I'd have to go look at their transaction log, but I think you're right. I think they did take a safety last round.
I don't know if I necessarily like taking two safeties in the draft. Now, I know it's an area that is very potent at this point in the draft. I feel like there's a lot of really good mid-tier safeties here, but I don't really feel like this was the proper pick here. I would have again gone backup quarterback there because really and truly this run of three teams here, I feel like need to address the quarterback position behind their starters.
Well, Clinton Dix isn't walking through those doors anytime soon, so maybe he wasn't satisfied with that first selection at safety, and he felt like he needed to go get another one just as an insurance policy.
Very true.
All right, Minnesota's pick is in here, and the Vikings select with the 17th pick in the third round, Trey Pipkins, left tackle out of Suez Falls, 68 overall.
Continues to try to address that offensive line that I feel like was one of the worst offensive lines in the league. I like the pick. Would have liked to see him maybe go for another interior lineman, but overall, you can't really argue with trying to keep Cousins upright.
And the Cleveland Browns pick is in here. They go defense. TJ Edwards, middle linebacker out of Wisconsin, 70 overall. I think this is a good pick here. Anytime you can get anybody above 70 midway late in the third round, I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I agree. Get somebody that I feel like is going to make an impact in that front seven. This Browns team is honestly so young. I feel like they almost could pick whoever they want and not go wrong. But I think this is definitely going to give them a little bit more strength up there.
Yeah, that Browns team, they are building a good roster here. I know it's kind of crazy to think that, but that Cleveland team, I think, is going to be a tough team this year in Sim League.
Yeah, agreed. Another team I'm not necessarily looking forward to playing too often.
I'm curious to see what the Titans do here. Just as a team who is very talented, but definitely has a couple areas of need. Do they take what they believe is the best player available, or do they stick to addressing exact positions and going with the defensive end here, which many will argue they might be good at, but it's definitely a position that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, so
they got to go defensive line.
The Titans pick is in here, guys. The Tennessee Titans select halfback out of Alabama, Damian Harris, 74 overall. I think this is a good pick here.
Good pick for most teams. I don't know if necessarily they need it here. You already got two running backs on roster that are what I would consider a good complement to each other. But adding another Alabama running back to them, I mean, they're doing all right with the first one they drafted. Maybe this one will back them up or do pretty well for them here as well.
Yeah, maybe Lewis's health played a role in that.
Yep, that's exactly where I was going. I mean, it's a guy that's been injured over and over, getting older. Maybe that's part of their movement. Maybe this is a youth movement in Tennessee, and this just solidifies that. I don't think Dion Lewis will move from the team this year. Maybe next offseason, but as time to learn. But who knows?
The Pittsburgh Steelers sneak in there. They select strong safety out of Iowa, Amami Hoker, 72 overall.
Another one of these solid mid-round safeties that I was looking at. Hoker didn't really blow me away on paper, but when you get to this point, like I said, you could take a lot more gambles on people. Comes in at a decent overall. I can get behind this pick as well if he was on any other team besides one of my rivals.
Very well said. Yeah, I also think it's a good pick in Pittsburgh. That Pittsburgh defense could use some depth in the secondary. I think Hoker brings that for him.
Where do we see Seattle going here?
Well, with Seattle sitting at pick number 21, Seattle has a pretty good roster. I do think they need to maybe shore up a little bit, add some defensive depth here maybe. I'd say maybe at the linebacker. I know it's a weak linebacker draft, but I could see him picking up another linebacker here.
Looks like they're coming up to it, so here we go.
Yeah, so the Seattle Seahawks pick is in, and Seattle goes left guard, Alabama. Ross Perkenscheicher, 72 overall.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that. Great pick, actually. 72 overall. We've seen a lot of linemen go here recently, and none of them have really blown us away. But this guy comes in solid numbers all around. I like the pick. A great pick for him for a pretty rough offensive line.
I believe that's their second offensive line taken here, because I remember earlier talking about Dwayne Brown, Justin Britt, and DJ Fluker. I believe it's actually the second left guard they've taken. So there's definitely going to be competition there, unless they decide to move one to the other side to compete with Jordan Roos, who's a 26-year-old. So who knows?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And then we had the Ravens come in here. The Ravens going defense, right outside linebacker out of Georgia, DeAndre Walker, 69 overall. Coach Rajan, what'd you see in him?
Honestly, an area of weakness for my team is we don't have a lot of speed on the edge. This gives us someone who comes in. He comes in with 86 speed, is a great finesse mover off the sides, has great agility for his position. I'm going to definitely be trying to move him more into a hand-in-the-dirt kind of player. Comes in with 78 strength. Need to improve his run game a little bit, but for a late third-round pick, I'm pretty happy with it.
And the Texans get in there. The Texans draft another offensive lineman, left tackle out of North Carolina, William Sweet, 67 overall.
Continuing to keep Watson upright. I would have liked to seen him take a better player, but I can respect the target. We'll see if he's going to be able to develop. That's going to be the question on him.
He's definitely someone that his combine was great. He looked good on paper, and when talking to him and seeing what we expect the type of player for him to be, it's someone that we need to work with and then develop. But in the end, I feel like it's definitely a position of need that we addressed, and we did a good job at it.
And the Steelers pick is in here. Steelers go defense, corner out of Alabama, Savion Smith, 73 overall.
Someone I was looking at, someone I was kind of playing around in my head with a little bit, but never really was sold on him 100%. A solid pick, though, a lot better than what I expected him to be.
Yeah, I think it's a good selection, too, myself. Looks like the Eagles pick is in here next. And with pick number 25, the Eagles go wide receiver, West Virginia, David Sills the fifth, 73 overall.
I like the pick, a good project player for him.
And, Coach, you're blessed right in behind him here for the Colts. Colts get strong safety out of Virginia, Juan Thornhill, 73 overall.
Another player that I didn't really like too much, but comes in a lot higher overall than I expected.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick in Indianapolis, building that defense. We all know Coach UB. He's going to be solid on the offensive side. He's got lots of weapons. Build that defense and, watch out for Indy in the South.
Yeah, that team's turning into a hell of a team overall.
So currently we are on round 3, pick number 27, approximately 40 seconds left for the Dallas Cowboys. Coach Triple Aries just playing lights out football with that Cowboys squad. I'm interested to see what he drafts here because they don't really have any glaring holes, but, depth. And their pick is in here. They go defense, corner out of Madison, Jimmy Moreland, 72 overall.
I'm starting to notice a trend with the overalls with these defensive backs. All actually ended up a lot higher overall than what I expected. A great pick for Dallas.
And the Chargers pick is in. Strong safety out of Fresno State, Mike Bell, 72 overall.
The last Fresno State player that the Chargers took didn't really end up too well for them. Hopefully this player turns out a lot better for him, gives them an option alongside Derwin James. I like the pick. We'll see how he projects.
And the Chiefs pick is in. Chiefs go halfback out of Oklahoma, Rodney Anderson, 71 overall.
A little boom to the bang. We'll see if how this turns out for him. I didn't really feel like it was a necessary pick, but could prove me wrong. We'll see.
Yeah, that's the second running back that the Chiefs have drafted here. Going back to the Moreland selection for the Dallas Cowboys, 93 speed, 95 acceleration, 96 agility, 86 jumping, 77 man coverage, only a 67 zone, though, and 65 press. That guy could be a playmaker.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, his intangibles are off the board. Needs to work on his zone play a little bit more. Not necessarily a physical corner, but someone who could develop into a definite starter for him.
Yeah, I could see a solid nickel corner there, too, picking up that speedy slot receiver. I think that's a good pick coming out of Dallas. We've got the Saints on the clock here. They got about 10 seconds left. They own pick number 30 here in the third round. Very interested to see what Drew Brees gets to play with here.
Stidham. Take Stidham.
And the Saints pick is in. Right tackle out of Washington, Caleb McGarry, 71 overall, obviously trying to protect Drew Brees.
Yeah, solid pick for him. I mean, obviously, I think he's going to move because they did take Ramchick a couple of years back, or however you say his name, who is by far their starter at that position. I see them trying to move him interior. Solid, great pick for him.
Yeah, I like the pick too. Anytime you can protect the passer there for Drew Brees. The Rams pick is in here. They also go offensive line. Right tackle out of Wisconsin, David Edwards, 70 overall.
Going to try to continue to open up lanes for Todd Gurley out there. Definitely an area they need to improve upon. That offensive line, while not terrible, is definitely in a position to kind of take a downward swing this next year. I love the pick.
And the Cleveland Browns pick is in. They go quarterback of NC State, Ryan Finley, 65 overall.
I don't understand that pick. Neither the player nor the position. I don't know. I'm not high on that one at all.
Well, the only thing that comes to mind here is depth. Maybe they felt like Finley complements their current quarterback situation in Cleveland. Maybe there's an injury we don't know about. Not sure. But Cleveland obviously felt Ryan Finley was the best person available at this point in the draft. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
We'll see. I don't know. With Stidham sitting there on the board, I still feel like he would have been a much better selection if you are going to take a quarterback there. I don't know. I don't like the pick.
Yeah, I agree with you too. But again, different general manager.
Right.
We've just entered the fourth round here, guys. Pick number 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock. About 20 seconds left on the clock. If you guys aren't active in the draft, please let us know so we can skip you. So that way we're not wasting time on CPU picks. They have about 10 seconds left here for Pittsburgh, so we'll see what they draft.
Time ticking down. I'll say this: I please, because as much bullcrap and try to fill some time, there is only so much bullcrap I could put out. And so yeah, if you guys are going inactive, please let them know.
Yeah, and the Steelers pick is in, right end out of Miami. Joe Jackson, 71 overall. Overall-wise, that's a good pick for the fourth round.
Solid pick. Still actually puts them near where we were seeing people that get taken in the second round. Overall-wise, addresses that defensive end position for them. A great pick there for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And the Oakland Raiders pick is in. They go free safety out of FAU. Jalen Young, 68 overall.
A very Gruden pick here, kind of going against the grain. Maybe outthinking himself a little bit. Maybe thinking he's a little bit smarter than what he actually is. We shall see if he's able to develop him.
And San Francisco's pick is in here. They go halfback out of Georgia, Elijah Holyfield. San Francisco does have a pretty good halfback situation on the depth chart. They've got a couple speedsters. I believe this will be their 5th running back on the roster. So watch for San Francisco to run that football, and then use Garoppolo's ability on play action to hit people over the middle there. You've got Kittle at tight end, one of the better tight ends in football. So I really think San Francisco can capitalize, by using that running game.
I feel like this is also a business move as well, because of course this brings in the Holyfield name into the 49ers organization. So maybe going to try to draw some attention on that front.
We'll see what kind of a boxer he is. And the Ravens pick is in. Defensive tackle out of LSU, Ed Alexander, 69 overall. Coach Rajan, what'd you see in him?
I don't want to talk about
it. He has tremendous upside, is what I'm hearing from Coach Rajan.
Oh, yeah. He's a player. I mean, there is going to be a fact that everybody is always going to be fully aware of me. I love my LSU guys, and I will always try to grab my LSU guys. Would have liked to seen him come out a little bit better than what he did, but high strength, someone that I feel like is going to beef up that middle. Gives me some options deep behind my starter, so manageable.
I think it's a pretty good pick. I mean, it is fourth round. You start to get out of those 70 overall class. I think it's a good pick for you. I think he'll be successful.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how I can develop him. He'll be a fun player to build.
And currently, we have the Tampa Bay Bucks pick in halfback out of Kentucky, Snell. And right behind him, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They sneak a pick in. They also go halfback. Mike Weber, 69 overall.
I love Snell. I'm surprised he wasn't rated higher. I'm surprised he wasn't targeted earlier. I think he is a hell of a player, someone who brings some passion to the position. I loved him in Kentucky. I look forward to seeing what he can do in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I agree with you. Good pick. I like Pittsburgh's pick here, too. After losing Le'Veon Bell, they need to work on that running back position a little bit.
Yeah, definitely an area of need. I don't feel like James Conner is going to be necessarily the future at that position. I know they were targeting running backs in free agency, so a solid pick for him. Going to be a project pick for him, though, I feel. See if maybe they can turn him into something.
And the Jags pick is in. They go halfback out of Iowa State, David Montgomery, 74 overall.
See, this is the player that I thought the Steelers were going to take if they were going to take a running back. I love Montgomery. Came in about where I figured he would be, and for a fourth round pick to be able to grab a running back like this, I love the grab.
I do think the Lions can get a steal out of a middle linebacker right here with Tyrell Dodson. 6'2", 245 interior lineman out of Texas A&M. He's only 20 years old. He's big, he's fast, and he's someone that at this point in the draft, I would be surprised if he doesn't go within the next couple of picks.
Agreed.
Yeah, I have to agree with you too. Very, very good announcement.
We'll see what they decide to do. Time ticking down for them.
Yeah, they got about 30 seconds left on the clock. They do own pick number 8, as previously stated. We are in round 4. Next on the clock, we have the Buffalo Bills. So very curious to see what the Lions can do here.
There's a lot of talent still out here on this board. I'm just kind of going through the prospects that are still out there. I don't really have anybody who jumps out as a grab me right now player, but still a lot of exciting things. And I it's just the way they opened up the draft still kind of surprises me taking a quarterback.
And the Lions pick is in. They go middle linebacker out of Notre Dame, Tavon Connie, 68 overall.
Not wild about this pick. I feel like there were better players at that position if you are going to address it. Now, like you said earlier, every general manager is going to grade different people different ways, but I just feel like there was a better pick out there at the linebacker spot.
And the Bills pick is in. They go halfback, Utah State, Darwin Thompson, 73 overall. I think a good pick there. You get a low 70s player in the 4th round. Not to jump on you guys here, but the Bengals pick is also in. Defensive tackle out of Notre Dame, Jerry Tillery, 69 overall.
2 solid picks. Definitely love the Bills pick. That's an area of age for them. So to be able to grab somebody like this in the 4th round, solid pick for them. As for the Bengals, I feel like the defensive tackles have really fallen off here in the past few picks, but a solid project pick here in the 4th could turn into a great player for them.
There goes Jarrett Stidham.
with the
There he is.
Broncos.
I'm surprised he fell this far. Looking at his overall, a little less surprised that he fell this far. But I feel like the Broncos grabbed somebody that they can develop, somebody they can kind of fine tune over the next year. Not necessarily somebody that will probably grade out at a down the line, but definitely a.
Yeah, so looking at Statham stats, his traits, he does possess this scrambling QB style, arm strength at 91 throwing power. His throwing stats are a little bit low here. He does have a 76 short accuracy, 71 deep, 73 medium. He can throw on the run, 79, and he does possess a 78 play action, only a 70 throw under pressure, so he is a work in progress.
Yeah, solid pick. What was his speed at?
Let's see. His speed. Yeah, I don't know how to check it here. Let's see. We have the Carolina Panthers at pick number 12. They got about 10 seconds on the clock here to get their pick in, and then following them, we've got the New England Patriots.
I feel like maybe seeing the Panthers go after Tyler Pettit out out of USC. Doesn't go that way, but hey, there you go.
Yeah, there it is. Whoa, it got by me there. Going to the Patriots pick here before I lose this. Tyree Jackson, quarterback out of Buffalo.
Good pick for him. A lot of people's combine favorite at the quarterback position outside of Murray, of course. I like the pick. Get somebody behind Brady to give you a different dynamic attack. And the Panthers actually drafted middle linebacker Tyrell Dotson with their pick.
Yeah, I like that pick in Carolina. You got Luke Kuechly there. You got somebody who can learn behind him. I think it's a very good pick for him. We've got the Washington Redskins on the clock here, pick 14, round 4, approximately 50 seconds.
Honestly, I'm not having anybody that I feel like leaps out at me at their position. Maybe Lonnie Johnson, the 6'3" corner out of Kentucky. Doesn't grade out real well physically, but a big body that they could fit in and just kind of take away space across the middle for him.
So as requested, Stedham's speed is a 78. His acceleration is a 79.
Okay, a lot lower than I expected. I expected him to come in low 80s, but doesn't take away from him too much. A solid pick.
Yeah, again, for Denver, I thought it was a good pick for myself. We already have a couple quarterbacks there, young quarterbacks, so add them to the mix and let them compete and see who wins the spot.
So looking at who we got left here, who's some of y'all's favorite players that could maybe jump off the board here?
Well, here, not to interrupt you guys, but the Redskins pick is in. Right tackle out of Penn State, Ryan Bates, 69 overall.
Another warm body being thrown at that offensive line. He doesn't really wow me in any aspect, but someone who at least gives them some pressure behind the starters for him right now.
And the Falcons, Caden Smith, tight end out of Stanford, 71 overall. He comes off the board here midway through the 4th. I think that's a great pick for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I feel like the Falcons have not had a solid tight end since Tony Gonzalez. Maybe going to find something here.
Yeah, I agree with you. Looks like Green Bay Packers select a corner out of Kentucky, Lonnie Johnson, 71 overall. Green Bay going heavy with the secondary.
Yeah, they definitely they notice a weakness on that team and are going to address it as much as possible. I really like this pick. He's a big corner that's going to be able to take away some of the more physical receivers in the league.
And the Vikings pick is in. They go offensive line again. Center, Texas A&M, Eric McCoy, 67 overall.
Not somebody, again, who I was very high on, but could provide some competition that could elevate the players in front of him, which I feel like is a very undervalued aspect of a lot of players that we're going to see around here.
So looking at the Cleveland Browns pick, that is in. I actually scouted this guy too. I was pretty high on him. Jaquan Johnson, free safety out of Miami, 67 overall.
I like the pick. Thought he was going to come in a little bit higher than this, but a solid pick for him. Gives him another project player. Yeah,
I agree. Very good pick here. We've got the Titans on the clock here, round 4. pick number 19, Steelers on deck. Interested to see what Tennessee can do here.
Yeah, like I said earlier, a team that I didn't really have a position that I felt like they were for sure going to go for, and I feel like that's still the consensus at this point. Maybe take a defensive end. Jalen Jeeks comes in rated out of 6.5, a speed rusher out of Oregon. Could be a solid player for him.
Yeah, Coach D. Ellis is a pretty good player too, so we're going to see pretty good coach. We're going to see what he can do here with the Titans this year. Last time I've seen him coach, he was coaching the Minnesota Vikings in 2 straight years in the playoffs. So very interesting to see what he can do with these Tennessee Titans. He's got about 6 seconds left here on the clock.
There's a lot of intriguing players still on the board. Not any stars, but some intriguing players.
And the Titans pick is in. They go linebacker. Texas Tech, Dakota Allen, 68 overall.
Not somebody I'm too overall familiar with. Again, I didn't really scout this late at that position, but does give them another body back there. Like I said, continues to push and gives them depth, lets them swap somebody out. All right, pick.
And we have the Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock here, about a minute left. Pick number 20 in the 4th round. Very interested to see what Pittsburgh can do here. I think Big Ben's watching intently, see if he can maybe replace some of the weapons that he's lost in this offseason.
Trace McSorley's still on the board.
And on deck after the Steelers, we have the Seattle Seahawks, followed by Ragin' Cajuns, Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, still lots of very interesting players out there. Lots of decent receivers at this point. We could see one of them going here soon.
And Pittsburgh's pick is in. They go halfback again. Washington, Myles Gaskin, 67 overall. They're obviously trying to shore up that running game after losing Le'Veon Bell to the Jets. I like this pick.
Yeah, good pick. Must not have felt too good about their pick before, or at least trying to get as many people in that stable as possible. Solid pick for them.
Yeah, I enjoy that pick too. I think you can never have too many running backs on your chart. They do get load. They do get injured. We have the Seattle Seahawks on the clock. What can you guys tell me about Taco King?
Taco King is one of the best players that I have went up against multiple times. A great offensive talent, can work with pretty much anybody, can make stars out of pretty much nobodies. He's kind of inheriting an offensive line that's a lot lower than what I usually see him end up with, so I don't know if that's going to affect him. But still a solid user overall. It's going to be kind of scary seeing him using Wilson.
Yeah, and he matches up in that division with Seahawks. Seahawks Hall of Fame Soden Bowl coach, very winning coach. He's normally the Seahawks, so very interesting to see those two square off. And looks like the Seahawks pick is coming in here. They're approaching the podium. Let's see who the Seahawks take. With the 21st pick in the 4th round, the Seattle Seahawks select wide receiver J.J. Arcega-Whiteside out of Stanford. I'm sure I messed up his name. My apologies. 69 overall.
Yeah, actually somebody who I was heavily targeting with this pick. A little disappointed to see him go literally before I was able to get my pick in. A good pickup for him.
And we have the Ravens on the clock. Looking back a couple picks here, going to Kansas City, free safety, Nasir Adderley. He is a 9-speed, 91 acceleration, 72 overall. He does possess the play ball tendency, so somebody that's going to go up there and intercept the ball. He does have 77 hit power. Very good pick for KC here. Looking at the Baltimore Ravens, wondering what the Ravens are looking at. Well, and the Ravens pick is in. The Ravens go James Gardner, 72 overall. That is a sneaky good pick for late in the 4th round. What'd you see in him, Coach Ragin?
Big body, saw some decent physical attributes, comes in with 88 speed, 89 acceleration, a very solid big body, can catch the ball pretty well, possesses the aggressive catch trait, 84 catching, 86 catching traffic, 89 spec catch. Comes in though. Let's see, where's his jump move at? I'll let you know that here in a minute. Or his jumping in just a second. I can't see. 90 jumping. 90 jumping for a 6'4 receiver with 89 spec catch.
So Coach College sneaks a pick in here with the Texans. He goes strong safety out of Ole Miss. Zedrick Woods, 67 overall. What'd you see him in, Coach College?
He's fast, and at this point, I feel like we need to be an aggressive and fast team, and that's exactly the kind of player he is. His trait is an aggressive play ball tendency, and it's a position that, at the same time, we believe in the guys we have. It's a player that we feel is just valuable to have around. He's a strong hitting, fast, aggressive safety, and we believe we have some of the best guys already in the building. And for him to learn from them, I expect big things.
And we have the Pittsburgh Steelers pick in. They went corner out of Northwestern. Monte Hardage, 67 overall.
Decent corner position. Sorry, go ahead.
Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock right now. They are on pick 25, and their pick is coming in now. The Philadelphia Eagles go right tackle out of Ohio State. Isaiah Prince, 69 overall.
Good pick for him here late in the fourth. A decent overall for him. Addresses a position that, of course, you always need more bodies on. So I like the pick.
So we are going to actually here at the end of the fourth round, SBN is going to go ahead and close down and let the draft play out here, rounds 5 through 7. The Colts, looks like the Colts just snuck a pick in here. Right guard out of Stanford, Nate Herbig, 69 overall, shoring up that offensive line in Indy.
Always hard to argue taking offensive line, like I just said before. Just a solid pick for him, trying to continue to keep Andrew Luck upright or trying to keep that shoulder in solid shape.
Yes. Dallas Cowboys, right tackle out of Charlotte. Nate Davis, 69 overall. Good pick. Very well coached offensive line in Dallas, maybe the best in the league. How do you like that pick?
They have always toted one of the one of the best offensive lines in the league. A pick for the future here. Maybe going to try to develop him to replace one of the aging guards or one of the aging tackles they already have on the team. I like the pick.
And looks like the Los Angeles Chargers pick is in here. Chargers with the 28th pick in the fourth round. They go after linebacker the Porter Gustin, 72 overall. Very good pick here to end the fourth round.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, an absolutely outstanding pick to close out here in the fourth round. Just wow.
Yeah, very good pick. I agree. That Chargers defense is lights out, along with that Jaguars defense. They're going to be a tough team to score on.
Let's see what their division rival can do now on the clock. I think the Chiefs had a good draft. Some questionable third round draft pick. Taking another running back, but he goes with Corey Ballantyne here, the Washburn cornerback, coming in at a 69 overall. I don't know too much about him, but for this late to have the upper 60s, I think he did well.
Yeah, that's a good pick in Kansas City there. Somebody that can kind of play now a little bit in the nickel spot, a bit of a playmaker. I like that selection out of Kansas City.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, secondary, another position that never hurts to have more bodies in. Just get more people out there who can hold down the spots and maybe not necessarily come in and be top-tier players, not expecting them to come in and be the next great corner, but someone who can come in and at least give the quarterback a pause to get that pass rushing opportunity to get to him.
Yeah, I like that pick. Currently, we have the New Orleans Saints on the clock, and the Saints pick is in. New Orleans Saints with the 30th pick. They select tight end out of Boston College, Tommy Sweeney, 72 overall. A plus 70 overall player here to end the fourth round. It's a hell of a pick. Rams get their pick in right away. I missed it. I'll have to go back and look at it. We've got the Patriots who snuck their pick in. Middle linebacker out of New Mexico State, Terrell Hanks, 66 overall.
About what you would expect here. Not someone who's going to blow the doors off of you, but a solid pick.
Yeah, and going back to the Rams pick here, the Rams got corner Amani Druar with that 31st selection. So that's all we have for you guys here with the SBN. Hope you enjoyed the draft. Rounds 5 through 7, we're going to speed it up a bit. As far as the broadcast goes, we're going to have to cut it loose here. So Coach Collins, Ragin, what do you guys got?
Solid draft overall. Was a lot of fun to call it live here. I look forward to continuing to work with you guys, and can't wait to see what happens.
Of course, yeah. This is awesome. It's something I used to do probably 6-7 years ago. We had a radio show, and to be a part of a league now that has so much more than that, and to contribute in any way I can. I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me on, and there were some great draft picks, some great talent, competition in this league. So couldn't be more happy to be a part of it.
I'd like to throw special thanks out to the Alpha. Great job producing this thing. Those player images in the first round, the second round. Very good job, Alpha. Outstanding job with the images. Great analysis, Ragin, Collins. Excellent job, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Hats off to everyone.
Yeah, that's it. I'm S. Soden on behalf of Ragin. We are out of here. Enjoy the draft, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.